Welcome, welcome. We'll get started in a minute or so just to give the other participants an opportunity to join us. Thank you for being here today. Welcome. I appreciate you taking the time to getting to know what benefits this tool provides for you and your customers and how it can help your business. Welcome. Hope you're all doing great today. Time sure flies. We're already in March. Barely feels like Christmas was yesterday. Welcome. I see some familiar names on here. Alfredo, how are you? I know we've had some back and forth. Welcome. We'll wait a couple more seconds and we will get started. Hey, and we will get started now. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Getting Started with CRL Online Programs. So, just a little bit of context. So I started this series of webinars. Hola, Alfredo. I started a series of webinars late last year. After a survey, customers mentioned that they needed to know how they can navigate the tool as far as setting up right after they became subscribers. So that's where the idea for these webinars came to be. Now, if there's something that you don't find and you would like me to add to this webinar or even another webinar, because some of you may kind of know my face because I do also host the other webinars along with other partners within the organization, like the Showers Online webinars. And we also have another one for glass entrances and partitions, which is more specific to our CRL systems. And as of this month, we will be starting glass entrances and partitions, but the US aluminum version. We recently added all of our US aluminum systems into glass entrances, or what used to be in the past storefronts. We have storefronts, which is the Citrix versions, and glass entrances is more of the web version. So this month we do have one for US aluminum. So for those of you who also purchase our US aluminum hardware and would like to go into the training or participate within that training, that webinar, please feel free. Go into the landing page for glass entrances and partitions and register to our next webinar. With that, we will get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, so this is the landing page for CRL Online Programs. So what is CRL Online Programs? CRL Online Programs is going to be all of our web-based programs. So we are adding all of the web-based programs into the same interface. Why? So that customers can build all of their needs in one place, no longer needing to log in and out from one device, from one program to log into the other. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So I have my password already memorized on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. Now, as soon as log in, the experience could be a little bit different for the users, for the different users within that site. What you're seeing here is a dashboard, which is providing some of our key KPIs for the usage of within the tool. Okay, so what do I mean with that? So when the only people who will have the visibility to the dashboard are people who have, or the seats that have the site admin permissions. Why? Because the site admins are the ones who will be able to make the changes I am about to demonstrate along the webinar. And the basic users, pretty much all they are able to do is design, code, and place orders. However, the site admins, they can go ahead and add the logo, they can add glass types, They can add glass costs for both the glass and also the process pricing. They can also go into the settings to change the font for the font that you want used on your quote. So a lot of different things are in the settings you would need to navigate because, believe me, the list is very long, and you would just have to go through them. And some will let you make changes. Others will not. Now, for those of you who are Citrix users and have both Citrix and web, if you see inherited those settings within the program, that means that they're inherited to what is already set up in Citrix. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and explain what the dashboard demonstrates. And I will go from left to right, similarly how you would read a book from left to right. So on the first top left hand corner, you'll find the menu. This is our sandwich menu. If I click it, you'll see all the different items I have on my list. Now, I have a long list because I am a system admin. The site admin might have a smaller list than myself. And then the basic users have a very small list because they can't really change a lot of the configurations within the site. Okay, so this is the menu. Okay, now here, this is where you can go ahead and change what you want to see. For me, because I am a systems admin, it allows me to be able to view my site, which is this. My site is the testing site that we have for internal users, or I can also take a look at the entire system. So it'll change all of the information here on the graphs to what is the whole world of CRL online program. So it's going to go ahead and show me all of the customer data, which I don't want to do that during the training. So I'm not going to choose that option. I'm just going to leave it here for this specific site. It's going to ask if you want to set up, want to see the information for the last 12 months, the last 6 months, 3 months, or even the last month. Now, for those of you who have multiple glass suppliers or whom you send your glass orders to, you can also break it down by the different glass suppliers here to know like who you sent what to. Okay. And then the next tab over is the item templates. Now, if you have designs or if you have applications that typically are very common in your area and you want to save them as a template, this is where you can go to save them as a template so that you don't have to recreate the project each and every time. You just select from the templates and it'll automatically populate that design for you. Site details, that's the information for your specific locations for your specific site. So for us at CRL, it's going to give the CRL physical address, email address, and company name. So everything that would live within all of the documentations that are that's going out to the customer. Okay. Now view projects. This is where you would go where it has the project list for all of everything that you've created within the specific interface. Add new, very self-explanatory, is how to add a new job. Okay. Now on the left, we have active users. This will give you the active users for this specific site within the last 24 hours. Okay. The next graph over is going to be our project count. I have it set up for 12 months, so it's going to give me 12 months of information. Now I can hover, this is month to month, and then I can hover over it, and it's going to give me the data for each specific month. So for example, how many projects were created, how many quotes were generated from those projects created, and how many orders. Okay, so you would just need to hover over it. Okay. And here's the project count, the quote count, and also the order count. As you can see, because this is an internal account, we really don't place orders on here. So we can see what the tool is being used for. Now, if we go further down on the left-hand side, we have our quote and order conversion, and that's specifically that. It's projects created within the program, to quotes converted, projects created to orders converted. And again, if you hover over it, you will find that information there, the specifics, and this is in percentages. The next graph over is our report count, and our reports are typically our PDFs. The documentations that's generated from the program, like For example, the glass ordered installation sheets, the quote account and hardware list. So here again, if you hover over it on a month to month, you'll find how many of these were accessed or even downloaded. Okay. Also, I think I got so excited to getting started that I forgot to give you guys the ground rules. Please feel free to enter any questions on the chat. Okay. And I will be reviewing the chat. Good morning, Holly. I'll be reviewing the chat as we go along. So please enter your questions here and I will go ahead and answer them. Or if I'm not clear about anything, please let me know and I will go ahead and repeat myself. Or if there's something that you would like me to show you as I go along, please also let me know what that is. Okay. So view projects, this is what the project list looks like. Okay, like I mentioned, this is an internal account. So we don't have a lot of information on here that a lot of our customers would have. We use this account, this internal account for testing purposes whenever I receive a new release for the programs, or if myself or the team receives different drawings, because not all customers have Showers Online. If they want any glass drawings, then we can create them here for them and we will go ahead and send them over to the customer, of course, with the fee. Okay. So this is the project list. It has the project ID, project name, the customer. So you can put your customer name on here, the location for the specific application, a brief description of the application, 2 panels, clear glass, and it's an inline that we use an inline template. The quantity, the date it was entered, the status, and mind you, when we're speaking about status, it's the status between you and your customer as the person who is using the tool, not you and CRL. Okay. And I'll elaborate later. Here you'll find the total pricing, any quote or sales order numbers. So the quote numbers, well, all of the quote numbers are the same length to be quote and order numbers are exactly the same length. So that, yeah, you'll be able to find that here for reference. If you wanted to search the program for a specific order, you can search here by the project name or even by the quote or sales order number. When I mentioned earlier that this CRL Online Programs has multiple tools. So this one has this shower designer. It also has the entrance and partition designer for both, which includes both CRL hardware and also US aluminum. Now, mind you, each of those are different fees, different programs, different versions. We're just trying to put them all into one interface. In the future, we may bulk sell all of the tools in bulk for one specific pricing. You have the option for all of the tools. Now, later this month, we will have also handrails online in a web version. So here next to glass entrances, you will see railings or handrails. We haven't decided really on the name for that tab. And you can pretty much build all of your needs here in one place. Okay. With that, let me go ahead and show you what are the benefits of once you've subscribed to CRL Online Programs. What can the program provide you and what's the value add? So earlier I did mention we have the sandwich menu. So this is the sandwich menu, and I think I'm going to take you pretty much through all of the little different drop downs or whatever it's pertinent or whatever we just are able to cover within the 45 minutes that we have left over. Okay. First and foremost, if I'm going to subscribe, I want to make sure that I have my company logo and my company information is accurate. So we would scroll down to site because that's kind of like the account for the online programs. So I go down to site. And again, your experience will be a little bit different because you won't see this on the far left-hand side because you're not a system admin. I am. So I have all the specific sites here, okay, and have different permissions from you. But typically what you would see is the site details, okay, which is the company name, a display name, the logo, any branch details, address. So, for example, this is where you would add your phone number, your fax number, if you still have a fax number, and your email address. All this information is information that will be populated on your quotes, on your hardware list, installation sheets, any documentation that's coming out of the program that you may either provide to your customer or you will be providing to your glass fabricator. Okay, so once you verified that all your information is correct, you would need to change the logo. When you originally subscribe, you will have our vendor's logo on your site, which is, you'll see that here. Now, if you want to change it, you would go here where it says site logo. Because I already have one, it's asking me to replace. If you don't have one, it's going to say upload. So I would click on change, select the file, and I would go to my different folders that I have in order for me to check for my images or where I have my files for these images. Da, 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 da. Okay. So I have one here for logos. So if I wanted to change it to something completely different, so if I wanted to change it to this, there it is. It's in black. Okay. And there we go. And I would need to save it. And I can go ahead and refresh it, and you'll see it on the top left-hand corner. Then now the logo, well, maybe the logo hasn't changed yet. I think this is the version that I have that will actually change with the color in the background. So that was one of the things when we redid our branding that we can go ahead and do that. So that would be how you would change your logos. Okay. Let's go back to the menu. Okay, now that we've already confirmed that we have all the branch information or location information correct and we have the right logo for documentations, we also want to make sure that we add all of the glass types that we have available, okay, or glass products. So these are the different, this is glass types, okay. We need to add all the types that we have available now. Right now, I have already a running list here. But if you wanted to add a new one, you would do add new. Okay, and then here you would add any name. And then here you would change the state of the glass, whether it's laminate, mirror, float. If you want it in use, or if you just want to set it up and use it later, you can do that here. If there's any special surfaces, okay. If there's any texture, you can also upload the file here. If you need to change the color, you can go ahead and change the color here, and then you would just save it. I'm not going to save it because this is not real, but and you would just save it, and then it's as simple as that. Okay. So that was your glass types. So glass products is going to be the different types of glass thicknesses that you're going to be using within the program. Okay, we have all of these set up already in the program on this test site. Okay, but you can go ahead and add, like for example, here you would do add new. And again, it's very, very self-explanatory. Okay, so I can do. If you have a quick code, you can add to here. See, it's clear. Clear. And then the glass type, clear glass, the thickness, the weight, and then you would just save it if you want it to be active on the site or if not. Okay. And if you want to use it for both glass entry, because we have multiple programs here, if you want to use it for showers, if you want to use it for entrances. Okay. I'm not going to save it either here. Okay, so that's glass products. If you wanted to add the glass costs, because if you're going to be, well, let me backtrack. So if you're going to be sending your glass orders to multiple people, or if you want the program to generate the glass orders for different glass fabricators, you would need to add the fabricator and the glass cost and process pricing for that glass fabricator here, so that your quote that you're sending over to a customer be very comprehensive and is able to not only quote the hardware but also quote the glass. So I'm going to show you how to add a glass fabricator. Once you're adding a glass supplier, once you're adding a glass supplier on the same screen, it's going to ask you to also add the process pricing and the glass pricing. Okay. So where do we go? So we go to the to the menu bar. Under maintain, you go to suppliers. Okay, these are all the glass suppliers that we've added to this test account as we've been doing training. Okay, so so on your far left here, you're going to be able to find the listing of your existing suppliers. Now on the right hand side, you're going to find the information. If you highlight one, you're going to find the address, how the if they're active, inactive, all of the information for this specific supplier. Okay. Now, if you want to add a new one, you would do add new. Okay. And then we'll do A1 glass, just because I saw that name earlier. Test. Okay. And then you will fill out the physical address. I'm going to do just because I'm in Los Angeles. And this is somewhere in downtown LA. So not that we have a lot of fast fabricators in downtown LA, but yeah, here we go. Okay, you would add the mobile number and then email address. Okay, and then I would save it. Once it's saved, you'll be able to see it here on the left-hand side. So there it is. Okay. Now I have my information saved. So this is my new supplier. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my glass cost. I'm going to do glass cost first. So it's going to be for the specific glass. And then right now automatically it's just for that specific supplier because I'm already in the supplier screen. And then it's giving me for what type of glass. Right now I have it for clear glass. If I were say, because this is our most popular, the 3/8 glass. If so, I click on the 3/8 clear tempered glass, and I will do $760 per square foot. Then I would save. Now, let's say you wanted to add a different type of glass. So here are the other glass types available, and you will follow the same step. Okay, so clear with coating. Okay, and I save it. Okay, very simple. We've tried to make the program as simple as possible, as user-friendly as possible, and as intuitive as possible for you. Okay, so that's adding the cost for the square footage of the glass here. So what's next? Okay, I'm gonna go back. Uh, uh, uh. I went back to my supplier information, and then here on the bottom right, left-hand side, we already covered glass cost. We can do process cost. So this is what your supplier is going to be charging you for your your notches, your holes, and so forth. Okay. So here you could break it down. Let's say, for example, if I wanted to do for a hole, add new. So let's see, a hole for all glass. Here, I'm going to choose the supplier. Glass thickness, 3/8. Oh, 19th. 3/8. Maximum thickness, 1/2 inch. And what's the cost? I'm going to say $11.25. Okay. And we add. There you go. It's very simple. You want to add another one. Rectangle, etched rectangle. A1 test. Oh, again for 3/8. What is wrong with me in 18? To 1/2 inch glass. Okay, and we save. Okay, so now moving forward, whenever I have a project that has either a hole or a edge rectangle, it's going to price accordingly. So not only is the program going to give me the glass drawings for this specific application, but when you're generating the quote that you're going to be sending over to your customer, it's going to have on the quote the pricing for the correct process or the correct finishes on the glass and the square footage on the glass. So you have a quote that will have everything as well as the hardware. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete these just because these are not real. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. And I'm going to also delete this glass fabricator. I'll go back and I'll delete it later. But that's how we add a glass fabricator. That's how we add glass pricing. And that's how we add the process pricing. So far, I don't see any questions on the Q&A. Does anybody have a question or would like to raise their hand to ask that question live? I'll be more than happy to turn on your mic for you if you have a mic. Of course, if you don't have a mic, again, please feel free to use the chat. No questions? Okay. Wow. Good. That means I'm going at a good pace and I'm being pretty clear. And mind you, if right now you can't think of a question or a specific scenario you would like me to run through, please don't feel confined to this time only. You have my email already on the registration sheet. And here I'm sharing it as well on the screen. That is my email address. So you can go ahead and email me any questions you may have post this webinar. Also, I will be sharing, I will be sending an email tomorrow to follow up on the webinar. I'm also, at the end of the webinar, you also do have a very brief survey just to see what you think about these webinars, if they're beneficial, if they're not, anything that we can cover, anything that you're not finding, any suggestions as far as improvements within the tools. Please feel free to send in your feedback. As you know, you live within our tools, you use the tools for the most part. I definitely want to make sure that we have the tools behaving how you expect and to meet all of your needs. Okay, so we're going to go back to the project list. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the menu. So here on the menu, okay, it's not only about generating the quote within the program, and I'll take you also on how to create a shower pretty briefly as well, but it's also about having the right pricing and making sure that you can go ahead and do markups for both the glass and the hardware, because I just demonstrated what you will be charged from the glass supplier for the glass. However, you can add a markup within the program that will automatically populate within the quote that you're sending over to your customer. So here under maintain, you'll find estimate default items. So these are the items that you can go ahead and add to the quote. So you can add here any discounts, you can add any subcharges, any, freight charges for that, if you're going to ship over the order, or any travel expenses should you have to travel outside of your office or go out of state, any specific accommodations that you would need to account for, see like a hotel offsite. These are just some suggestions that we've had. If you want to offer like a glass discount, if you want to add for the electric surcharge. So just a different type of ideas here that we have in those. These are the estimated default items. So it's just, these are the line items. So that's hence item. Here, you're not going to be able to add any, any markups. I'll show you right now. Like, let's say, for example, you want to charge the customer for gas. If you want to be more specific, instead of if you want to use travel expenses or any gas charge, let's say gas charge, and you want to do it for showers and entrances, you save it and gas charge it here. So that's another line item that you can also add a markup for the customer. So that's how you add a line item there. Okay, estimate default items. Now we can go back to the menu where it says estimate default values, or you can go ahead and do estimate default values here. And here, this is where you would add the markup. So right now, it does seem like the hardware is marked up to 100%. Let me remove that. The glass is marked up at 150%. And I'm removing it just because I know that sometimes when we are creating quotes for the customers, this does happen. Okay, let me remove the discount. So just delete and save. That's pretty much what it is. And then here, if you wanted to add, again, the markup for the glass, just click on it, add the percentage, 15%, if that's what you want to do. Okay, glass, we'll do 50%, and you just save. Very, very, very simple. Very simple. Okay. If you wanted to do add to the labor per door, this would be the cost rate, and this would be the markup, and you would add here if you wanted to use it as a default. If you wanted to give a discount, we'll give 15% discount. Let's say we're going to give a 5% discount. You save it. And mind you, when you're making any changes within the program, not only for the markups, but if you're making any type of changing for it within the program, the changes are not retroactive. These are changes moving forward. So these will affect any projects moving forward. I would suggest though that if you want to design a new project with all these changes, log out, log back in just to make sure that we refresh. Sometimes if you click refresh, it will work, but it will take a little bit of time. So if you log out and log back in, it'll work faster than refreshing. Just wanted to mention that. But it also varies depending on the speed of your broadband. Okay. So no questions on markups? Looking at the chat. I'm seeking engagement. Okay, so I'm being very clear, not a problem. And mind you, here on the top left-hand corner as well, you also have to specify for which designer, which program. So if you wanted to add the markup for the shower designer or for the entrances. So right now we did for entrances. As you can see, the shower designer doesn't really have any markups. So, but you can add them here just by clicking on the left-hand side, opening up the right-hand side, and you're just going ahead and changing it there. Okay. So that's markups and glass polishing and adjustments. This is a fairly new one that we've recently added because we are in the process of making changes within the program. But here is where you would add the process. Okay, if it's going to be flat ground, pencil polished, the minimum thickness, minimum unit thickness, maximum unit thickness, and the adjustment that is required here. Okay, I'm going to save that. Save it. We already went through glass cost, glass products, glass types. This is where I mentioned the item templates also on the menu bar. I mentioned it earlier on the dashboard. So on the dashboard, you'll also, it's going to take you to specific places as well. So these are some of the templates we already generated and saved on here. So let's say, for example, this would be a typical application, okay, within your area. Then all you would need to do is select this one, okay? Okay. If you wanted to add a new one, just add a new one, and it would ask you to start the design as well. So you would just, whatever you want to name it here, and then what you want to design it here. So it's going to save it, but I'm not going to do that. Any quote note if it needs a deposit. And here's where you would have the description. But yeah, once you saved it, then it will be populate here on the left-hand side as well. Okay, and I'll show you where to go to select one of the templates as well. Okay. We also have, if you have any preferred finishes or preferred colors, simply what you would do is drag and drop, pretty much. If you have, right now we have matte black, gunmetal, matte gunmetal, brass, polished. Now if I wanted to do oil rub on, just grab it, drop it, and save it. Grab, drop, and save. That's all it is. Okay, under preferred colors. Same thing for preferred fittings. So preferred fittings is their preferred hardware. Now you also have to pay attention on the top left-hand corner if you're selecting for entrances, if you have multiple tools within your subscription, or if you only have showers, then you won't have that option on the side. Okay. So here, here's my the preferred fittings for my styles, Channel Geneva. Okay, and these are the different styles here as well. If I wanted to use a specific clamp, so it seems like we already have, yep, BCU4s, SCU4s, G090s, the operable transom clamp. Yeah, this is typically what are on for our site. This is what we use a lot. But yeah, you would just select from the categories here, and then drag and drop as well to the side. So drag and drop. And you can position them which one you want first. And preferred fittings and preferred colors, typically those are the colors that are going to be in the program on the top. So you can select first. Okay. And then you would need to save. Okay. That's preferred fittings. And we did process cost and fittings. Report settings. This is more for the different reports that are available within the program. So we have like the cutting instructions, the diagrams, door layout, door details, and so forth. This is not, you can just do the settings here, like if you want to set up the margins and so forth, but you will always have this listing available here, and it's giving you all the reports because we do have multiple systems in one interface. Okay, settings. I know we talked about the settings. So these are the settings that I mentioned. It's very, very long. It is in alphabetic order. So you can go ahead and go through now if you don't see right off what you're looking for. So if I wanted to look at the project ID, uh, so the project identifier, I would go here. If I wanted to select a value for my site, then I would just choose it from there. Um, so you can go ahead and click here and you'll be able to find it there. And if you wanted the quotes to have the project ID or the project code, you can select from either or. But similarly to that, like let's say, for example, you want to change the font for the quote, you could do font. So the 3D view font, and here you will be able to change the font. Okay. So the tool is very versatile. You can change it to whatever you need. Here's for the shower styles, which you've seen already here what we have. I think on the other screen under preferred fittings, I did demonstrate to you how to go ahead and add those those styles. If you want to create a new style, you can also do that here. Okay, you find the style name, you give the description, okay, which color, which hardware you want to use for that style, and so forth. So very simple. And of course, like I said, you can either, add it as a style or add it as a template, whatever the just the experience is going to be a little bit different because if you're adding a template, then it's going to be on your templates. And I will show you in a little bit where you will find those. But if you're adding it as a style, you would find it under the design tab under style, and it will be there as well. And mind you would still have to create the template and then add the hardware because the style is the shower hardware style is just for the hardware itself. Okay. Simple notes. You'll have all of these notes that we have available, like for example, the locations, and then you'll have the different notes here. We've already made all of the notes available for all of the customers. Installation notes. Where are all my notes? Shower locations. So mostly we use it for a lot of the shower locations, the simple notes. But you can go ahead and add, like, for example, the shower installation here. We have them all there. You'll be able to choose for what we already populated, but also create your own by adding new. Okay. We went through site. We went to suppliers. These are for notes. If you want to add a note for a deposit, or whatever the case may be, or a quote note, you can just specify, you can do a new one here. And this is where you would go to do the note. Right now for anything to deposit, it's saying that there's a 50% deposit due to time of order. Okay. So that is something that you can do yourself, or if you want a note yourself here, you would add new, the name of the note. If it's an email embodied note item, quote appendix, quote note, application document, so forth. And then here, and then here, you would have a different variations of the different, it's called smart tokens. This is more on the smart glazer side. So if it's like the shower hardware style, yeah. So yeah, a lot of different variations, a lot of different things, how to customize your experience within the tool. Then, of course, we already went through suppliers. And then this is users. You'll be able to see the users for that specific site. Obviously, I mentioned this is for internal testing. As you can see, we have a lot of people on here that use this internal site. Okay. You as a user, typically you can't make any changes for the users. If you want to add new users, then you can go ahead and do that. However, one thing that I would also start suggesting is start populating the right name for the right user. Okay. Don't share the seats. Okay. Why? Because we are changing our systems and because we are changing the programs have to evolve to get to a more seamless um, way of working with us, to work smarter, not harder. There's a lot of changes that are coming. One of the changes that I am going to give you kind of like a teaser is I want to tie each specific seat and the name for each within each specific seat. I'm sorry, each specific seat to a name and an email, so that when you're generating the quote, okay, it will automatically populate your information. Why? Because we recently transitioned over to a new ERP. Okay, the features we had in the past where it used to recall who submitted the last quote is no longer there. Okay, it was redesigned it was designed differently because it couldn't accommodate to that. Okay, so that is one of the asks, one of the improvements that is going to come on the tools, where it's going to tie every seat to every to the proper name and email. Okay, so I would suggest that on your users, I'm pretty sure you're going to see -1, -2, -3, enter the name for the person instead of the -3, -2, enter the name of the user and their email address or even phone number and job title. Okay, so that even moving forward with the quotes, you'll have that information on there, their name. Okay, and it will auto-populate the name and the email. Okay, so those are all for the settings. Now let me go ahead and, because we still have a little bit of time, let me go ahead and share with you how to create a shower. I'm pretty sure I'm not telling you anything new. I'm not showing you anything new, just because most of you probably, if we are already subscribed, already live within the tool. Okay, so adding a new shower, and then here we also have entrances. So let's do, because showers are pretty simple, let's do an entrance. And mind you, entrance is also very simple. Okay, so my project name is test webinar, but do subway. We're going to do the entrance for a subway. And New York City. Okay, so I entered the customer name. Obviously, here you already know that this is where you enter all your project information, like a location. If you want to do the street name here, if you want to enter the project code. And this is where earlier I showed you the project identifier. If you want to do a project code or project ID, it's going to provide you who is creating this quote. So this is tying it to my specific login. And then the quantity, the date entered, the status. And again, this is the status between you and your customer. Typically, you'll be adding this information from your customer. Okay, on the quote is the quote information, not necessarily the quote you're generating within the program, but the quote that when you quoted this to your customer. So the date it was quoted, who quoted it, and it's going to refer back to the users within your site, a customer reference, quote, address, phone number, email, and so forth. Okay. Under order, this is more of the delivery of the hardware and the glass to your customer. Is it going to be delivered to a branch, delivered to a site? Is it going to be picked up by your customer? When? What time? And here, once you quote or enter or submit the order to CRL, you'll be able to have the quote number here or the sales order here, and you'll have an order history. Even the documents that you access within the program, you'll be able to see here in the order history. Any private notes between you and your team can go on here. Any descriptions. So if you wanted to add a quote description here, you can go ahead and add a quote description there. Now, without further ado, let's start to design the entrance. Okay, So this is what entrances and partitions looks like and what we have available for CRL. These are what we have available. The all heavy glass door, 487 office partitions, and our fabric partitions. The remainder of these options are for US aluminum. These are our storefronts, our curtain walls, the 3,000 sliding doors, 2,000 sliding mod sliders, uh, and then the terrace doors, patio doors, stormfront, windows, and so forth. So this is our template library. Okay, so for now, let me do heavy glass door. I'm gonna select. So that's what I have it here, and then also here, this is the different shapes. If you want a flat, pop in, pop out. What are your door options? No door, door on the left, door on the right, double doors, no transom, or with the transom. So I have it in all glass. Let me do one, okay, 3 panels. And let's say, yeah, change my mind. If I want to do 2 doors. You can also go into the layout tab. So we were in the template tab. Now we're going to the layout tab. I'm gonna add another door. And I'm gonna do a fixed panel. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. And try. There we go. We're gonna do 100 and oh, it's not going to be not a plumb 101. But as you can see, we can add the height here on the layout tab, or you can add it on the design tab. We can go ahead and select if it's an out of plumb, you can add the out of plumb here, and then how you want it mounted. Is it surface mounted or recess mounted? You can also add any notches or nibs. Okay. And here we're going to do the length. We're going to do 210. Here also, this is where you're going to be able to add an out of level. Now, since I have 2 doors, I don't want it at 7.2. That's default. I'm going to do 80. Actually, okay. We go to the design tab. Okay, that's what it looks like. So we're doing the door rail system. And in here, you can also add, like if you want to, you're looking for another design like the 1301 Bloomcraft entrance door, the 150, the 250, the Laguna series, you can find them here under styles. But we do have all glass here. You can select your finish here. And what door style do you want? If you're looking for a patch door, okay. If you want a P style, AF style door, okay. I'm gonna leave it in P, okay? And then obviously it's exterior entrance and partition. We're gonna do stock lengths, okay, instead of custom lengths. I didn't choose any glass supplier. If we want to change the glass thickness for the side panels, we can here. And then if we wanted for the door, you can change it here, okay? We have the doorways tab where here, this is where you would also change the different style, different color. If it the door, the makeup for door 1 is 1/2 inch glass. Okay. We would come here for the door configurator. We have it the doorway swinging. And then if it's overhead concealed closer, if it's floor closer, if it doesn't have any, if it's center hung, 3/4 offset, 1.5 inch offset, and so forth. So this is where the customization to what you want the program, the project to be. This is where it starts. So anything above the door, and as you can see, as I'm clicking on the collapsibles, it will also highlight it on the right hand side. If we have any different hardware that is compatible for the specific application in which it will show you here. So the 4-inch header, 4.5-inch header, 4 module header, and so forth. So those would be here. Okay. all of your options here. The door top, what are the rail? This is what for the rails. We will have those here. Styles, as you can see, we've made it very versatile and very customizable to meet your needs. Okay, the handles that definitely on the handles, there are some changes that we're doing on the handles because not the program currently doesn't have all the handles in matte black in the matte black finish, and we will be updating that within the next release, which the next release should be, or the next update should be with by April. In April, we'll have a next release, but you will get an email of what changes are in that release or new update. Okay. Now, for us to do the customizations on the sidelights or transoms, if we had any transoms, so if you wanted to change the for the WU here, so we wanted to those. I'm changing it for the WUs instead of the smoke baffles. Okay. Here, already changed it. Okay, have the setting blocks. Okay. So we're good. Different panels where we have the cutouts, but I believe this one doesn't really have any cutouts except for the handle. It's going to give you material lists as well for you to see what is on here. Then we can go ahead. Okay. I'm going to save it. As you can see, we can also see the stock on here. Let me show you project list. So if we want to quote it, quote/order. This is an internal account, so I need to add an account number so it could pull the correct pricing for me. For you, that is not necessary. It will tie into your specific account, your specific pricing. I'm just choosing one because it usually refers back. Yes, Alfredo. If there is time, can you printing quotes and diagrams? We don't have time. We only have a couple of more minutes, Alfredo, but I can go ahead and are you trying to print the online quote or just the regular PDF? So here, as you can see, it's really instantaneously that you would get the quote. Anything that has pricing, anything that's stock, you would get the pricing right away. Okay. I can go ahead. You actually, Alfredo, you would need to download it and save it on your device. It's just following the path on your device. Before it was a little bit different, but due to security issues, you can no longer save it within the program. You have to save it within your device. But yeah, I can share something with you. So it quoted it. There we go. As pricing. So now we can go back to the project list. And as you can see, I know earlier I mentioned that you can go ahead and see the history here. So this is the quote number, and this is the quote history. So let's say I wanted to view any of the documents. So I'm just going to do, these are all the PDFs that we have available along with the online quote, which is a little bit different. It's more dynamic, the look. And then we also have multiple reports here. So you can choose, when you click on multiple reports, you can choose what PDFs you want, all in a bulk. Okay. So I'm going to exclude this one. I'm going to exclude the quote and the hardware list. I'm going to do view selected. And I know we're already passing time. And then as you can see right on top of my device on the downloads, I can see that it's already downloaded. And this is what it looks like. Okay. Okay. Now, when you download it and you want to print it, you can go ahead and do that. If you wanted to choose just the quote, Alfredo, you can do that as well. You can just click on print after you've downloaded. So that's also an option. Okay. So I won't take up more of your time, and I have another training right now as soon as I'm done with you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to get to know this program and how it brings value over to your business. I hope this is not the first or last webinar you join. I hope I'm able to see you more, and I hope you continue to engage with me so I can go ahead and share more information with you on the tools. Or if you have any doubts, please, 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 or anything that you haven't figured out, you have my email. Please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Okay. I'm not going to say, I can't promise I'm going to respond like in 30 minutes or an hour. I'll try to respond before the end of the day. But I will definitely respond. And if I have any resources for you, I'll share those with you. With that, again, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for your business, and thank you for partnering with us. Have a good one.